Where are my elves? Oh, hark! Here they come now.
Elephants? I thought the midgets were gonna play the elves.
They want to play the polar bears.
Actors.
The Necro Critic is in. The Necro Critic is in. Watch crap movies, play crap games. There's too much out there causing us pain. The actors are rancid, the plot is stale. Necro is here to put an end to the fail. The Necro Critic is in. The Necro Critic is in.
Christmas in July seems early for a holiday.
Hi, I'm the Necro Critic. For countless decades, one question has plagued the minds of all who experience a certain brand of summertime weirdness. Why is Christmas in July a thing? Well, in case you didn't notice, people really like Christmas. So much that they'll take any excuse to celebrate as early as possible. Over here, they use it to ignore the heat, while in the southern hemisphere, they use it to justify their winter. But more realistically, it just serves as a sad excuse for stores to sell outdated stock, TV networks to fill dead time slots, and third-rate internet celebrities to cover up embarrassingly long schedule slip-ups by doing holiday specials in the middle of summer. But just because it's questionable doesn't mean it's not valid enough to have holiday specials. And who better to produce one than everyone's favorite holiday classic crapping machine, Rankin Bass. So, crack open your leftover spiced beer and light the sparklers on the why the hell not tree. This is the epic holiday crossover, Rudolph and Frosty's Christmas in July. The movie starts out at the North Pole, where Rudolph is showing off his jumping skills to Frosty and his kids. Okay, 3 things. 1, how do Rudolph and Frosty know each other? The movie never addresses this, and they never met in the other specials. The very first shot is the two of them hanging out with no context. Are we just supposed to infer, oh hey, they're best friends, let's just accept this and move on? I mean, imagine if the Avengers opened with everyone just chilling out with some beers and never referencing how they teamed up. There'd be a serious chunk of story missing, leaving everyone confused. B. Let's talk about Frosty for a minute. As you can see here, Frosty's rendered in Rankin Bass's trademark Animagic stop motion. However, Frosty the Snowman and Frosty's Winter Wonderland were both 2D animated. I get that they had to make the change in order for the crossover to work visually, but honestly, seeing a 2D character suddenly turned into a stop-motion puppet is just unsettling. And French hens. How does Frosty have children? Yes, Winter Wonderland introduced Frosty's wife, Crystal, but she was made and brought to life the same way Frosty was. Did they build and enchant the kids, or did they have them the old-fashioned way? I mean, they don't wear pants, so as far as I know, they don't have the proper anatomy for that sort of thing. I don't know, how the hell do snow golems procreate? For the love of God, don't answer that! I know Rule 34, and I have seen shit that'll turn you white. Oh, God, I'm rambling again. How far are we into this? 40 seconds? Jesus Christ, not even a minute in and I'm already confused! How much more of this do I have to... Are you fucking kidding me? This thing is feature length? Christ, the other specials average about 45 minutes! This thing is twice as long?! Calm down, Necro. So Rudolph tries to light his nose for Frosty's snow spawn, but to their surprise, it starts dimming. Which prompts Santa, voiced by Mickey Rooney,
Hold out your stockings, kids!
to exposit to the audience about, I shit you not, the epic backstory of Rudolph's shiny red nose. Yeah, I should probably point out that this was made during Rankin Bass's high fantasy phase. With that in mind, buckle up. Long ago, there lived an evil wizard named Winterbolt, voiced by Paul Frees, who used his magic ice scepter to oppress the creatures of the North Pole. Until one day, Lady Boreal, the queen of the Northern Lights, used her magic to place him in a deep sleep and end his tyranny. But over the years, her magic weakened and he rose again, only to discover that Santa Claus had usurped him as King of the North. Enraged, he plotted to use snow dragons to conjure a magic fog that would halt Santa's yearly trip, allowing him to replace Santa and take over the world. Anticipating this, Lady Boreal appeared before a newborn reindeer and used her remaining magic to gift his nose with the glow of the Northern Lights, so that he could thwart Winterbolt's evil ambitions. And then she leaves him to be subjected to a life of merciless ableism until his magic birth defect proves useful to his peers. And somewhere along the way, he fights a Yeti and saves a magic time baby from an evil vulture. And of course, none of this is even remotely hinted at in any of the earlier specials. It's almost as if the writers just pulled this out of their asses to justify some stupid good versus evil plot or something. Back in the present, Winterbolt tries to use his magic to put out Rudolph's nose. However, Frosty gives him a pep talk, which fills him with enough determination to shine brightly once again. With his magic bested, Winterbolt consults the genie of the Ice Scepter, sure, why not, who tells him that Rudolph's nose can't go out so long as he uses it for good. So Winterbolt concocts a new scheme to lead Rudolph away from the North Pole and trick him into using it for evil in order to extinguish it for good. How exactly does one use a red light for evil? Meanwhile...
Rudolph! Hey, Rudolph!
Hey, it's Milton.
Who?
The Flying Ice Cream Man.
Well, obviously, everyone knows about Milton the Flying Ice Cream Man. What, with his classic song and all of his TV specials and his... I'm sorry, what?
He keeps his stock up here where it won't melt. And this time every year he picks up a big load to take down to the seashore for the 4th of July weekend.
That's stupid. That's stupid! Why the absolute fuck would you keep your frozen food stock thousands of miles away from where you sell it? How does he keep it from melting in the world's slowest method of air travel during the hottest period of America's climate? Has he ever considered, oh, I don't know, a fucking freezer? For that matter, how the hell does Rudolph know him? Given the timeline, he's at most a year old. If Milton only ever comes around for the 4th of July, then the only time Rudolph could have ever met him was while he was a frickin' baby. Anyway, Rudolph goes off to introduce Frosty and his family to him, only to find him in tears.
What's wrong, Milton?
I'm in love.
With who? You're in love with a whole circus?
I'd call a guy like that fickle.
Damn, Crystal's got bite. Frostbite. As it turns out, he's engaged to the daughter of a circus owner, but the circus is going broke. And if they don't make enough money by the 4th of July, it'll be bought out from under them by Sam Spangles, an evil showman who bears an uncanny resemblance to the magician from Frosty the Snowman. Distant cousins, maybe? While eavesdropping on the sob story, Winterbolt sees his opportunity and uses his magic snow to plant an idea into Milton's head. Bring Rudolph to the circus in order to draw a crowd big enough to earn the money. Frosty and his family lament the fact that they can't go since the summer heat would melt them, prompting Crystal to cheer him up with a song about how she loves him just the way he is.
Everything I've always wanted. You are everything I've always wanted.
Because it's just not a Rankin Bass movie without pointless songs that come the fuck out of nowhere. However, Winterbolt shows up in person, under the guise of a fairy godfather, to offer a solution to Frosty's problem. A set of magic amulets that'll keep them from melting even in the hottest heat. However, the magic has a specific time limit.
You must return here before the fireworks finish, or you will melt in the heat of a summer eve.
Shouldn't be too much of an issue. 4th of July was over a month ago, and I'm still hearing fireworks. Don't you just love the South? So the three of them talk to Santa, who agrees to show up during the fireworks and bring Frosty back home before they finish. Milton is ecstatic over the news and
Everything I've always wanted. You are every...
couldn't even wait 5 minutes for a reprise, now could you? So they all show up at the circus, where Milton shows off Rudolph and Frosty to the owner, Lily Lorraine.
Rudolph and Frosty? I can't believe it.
And Santa Claus, too.
Santa, too? What an idea for a closing act.
Hey, it's just like Christmas is coming early this year.
So everyone's excited about the circus being saved, as well as the prospect of Christmas coming early. So much so that...
Christmas in July.
Motherfucker! Okay, to be fair, this isn't a bad song, and it does tie into the scene. But the problem is, this is the 3rd song in less than 10 minutes after a mostly music-free half hour. What, are they just making up for lost time or something? Meanwhile, Winterbolt travels to the Cavern of Lost Rejects to recruit the most evil reindeer who ever lived in order to lead Rudolph astray. So he comes across Scratcher, a reindeer who was banished from the North Pole for committing the most vile act imaginable: stealing candy canes! So we cut back to the circus, where Rudolph and Lily finish setting up, so they...
Chicken today and feathers tomorrow.
Okay, it's about time I fully address this. Most of these songs are completely pointless, and this one here is the worst example. Now, it almost works. I mean, chicken today, feathers tomorrow, things are good now, but the future's uncertain. That's what she just said, so it makes sense, right? But when you listen to the lyrics, the song has nothing to do with that sentiment. It's about how carefree she is as long as she's got her guy. What guy is she talking about? Is it Rudolph? Frosty? Milton? The circus? I don't know. You don't know. The context is completely absent, and it has no bearing on the story whatsoever. And that's the entire scene. Rudolph says circus life seems rough, she sings, and that's it. No plot structure, no character development, Just a pointless song to fill time while the plot gets monopolized by wacky circus antics. This is Felix the Cat all over again! Actually, I take that back. Sure, the songs in that movie were meaningless filler, but at least they had context. These songs come completely out of nowhere and assault you without any warning. It's a drive-by musical! This soundtrack is so pointless that networks cut out most of it whenever they play the movie. And who can blame them? I mean, how would you feel if you were watching something only to be constantly interrupted by some pointless bullcrap that has nothing to do with what... Excuse me for a second. What the hell are you guys doing?
What's it look like? We're celebrating Independence Day.
You realize it's August, right?
It's never too late to celebrate freedom.
Yeah, America forever.
Well, could you keep it down for a minute? I'm trying to film over here.
You can't tell us what to do, you liberal Nazi communist.
That doesn't even make sense!
You don't make sense.
Ha! That's a good one.
Hey, toss me another bud, will you?
So we cut to Santa and Mrs. Claus getting ready to leave for the circus and reminiscing about their lives together.
And I still love you, just as much as the first day I saw you.
Instead of talking, you gave me a lovely china doll.
Hold up. He gave her a China doll? Why does that sound familiar?
Toys are frivolous, impractical, unproductive, and... What's that?
For you.
A China doll?
Okay, no. That has to be a coincidence. It's probably just an Easter egg or something. There's no way that... The prologue.
The perfect place for me to build my toy factory and carry out my life's mission, far away from all who would stop me.
Those are the exact same models as... Wait, those who would try to stop him? Like, the Burgermeister? Santa Claus is coming to town is canon to this? But, what? How? Why? I have so many questions! For starters, if the Kringle Elves were driven out of the North Pole by Winterbolt, then how does Santa not know about him? Surely the elves that frickin' raised him would have mentioned something about the despotic Ice King who tortured their friends and family, especially after they decided to return there. Did they figure the Winter Warlock would have taken care of him? In fact, what the hell happened to him anyway? He never shows up in any of the other specials. Where did he go? When did he leave? What is the timeline here? Actually, now that I think about it, where does Frosty fit into the timeline? Did he show up before or after Rudolph? For that matter, what else is canon here? Is the Year Without a Santa Claus canon? Do the Miser Brothers exist in this universe? Well, if they do, then Nestor the Donkey does too, since Jingle and Jangle are right there at the beginning of his movie. If that's canon, then is the Little Drummer Boy canon too? What about the Easter Bunny? Santa is in Here Comes Peter Cottontail, but S.D. Kluger is in The Easter Bunny is Coming to Town. So which one is the canon one? And what about the first Easter Rabbit? Where does that fit in the timeline? Is it just part one of a multi-generational epic of Easter Bunnies? Is Jack Frost canon? Is the Jack Frost from Jack Frost the same Jack Frost as the Jack Frost from Winter Wonderland? If those Jack Frosts are the same Jack Frost, then why does Jack Frost have a different personality and—
Get on with it.
Yes, get on with it!
I can't help it! The implications of the Rankin Bass shared universe are baffling beyond all logic and reason! So Santa and Mrs. Claus head off to meet up with Rudolph and Frosty, only to get trapped in a giant storm created by Winterbolt's dragons. Meanwhile, Scratcher shows up at the circus claiming he's fallen on hard times and begs Rudolph to get him a job there. Later that night, the circus puts on its Christmas in July show. Oh crap, how long has it been since our last song number? Quickly, cram as many songs into this sequence as you can! Whew, no worries about the quota now. As the show goes on, Scratcher tricks Rudolph into using his nose to light up the box office and take the night's profits to a policeman to deposit it. Meanwhile, the circus comes to an end, and Lily announces the beginning of the fireworks show. Frosty notices that Santa hasn't shown up yet, and is worried that he won't make it in time. So he decides to try to stop the fireworks show.
Why do you want to stop them, Daddy? Aren't you patriotic?
Sure, I'm patriotic. My only regret is I only have but one life to melt for my country.
You live in the North freaking Pole! Unfortunately, he arrives too late, as the main fuse is already lit and the fireworks can't be stopped. Speaking of which... Okay, seriously guys, could you please knock it off?
No way! We still got 12 more boxes of Whisker Biscuits, Honky Lighters, Hooster Doos, Hooster Don'ts, and Whistling Kitty Chasers to go through.
It's 3 in the afternoon! What are you even getting out of this?
We're getting your mom.
Woohoo! That's a burn right there.
Okay, that's it. I'm calling a noise complaint on you guys.
Yeah? We'll call this.
Was that a bottle rocket?
Yeah, and there's more where that came from.
Get out of here, you Satanist hippie! That'll learn him. Now grab me one of them Nipsey Daisers.
With or without scooter stick.
So the whole family watches the fireworks as they slowly confront their mortality.
Daddy, why are you so worried about the pretty fireworks?
Children, you must be very brave.
We promise to be brave, Mommy.
Well, this got fucking dark.
Oh, Frosty, you are everything I've always wanted more than anything.
Frosty the snowman was a jolly happy soul. Just as things seem their worst, Winterbolt shows up riding in a sleigh pulled by flying snakes. Subtlety, thy name is Winterbolt. He then reveals that the policeman Rudolph gave the money to was Sam Spangles in disguise. As a result, his nose is now extinguished for committing an evil act. He then tells them that as long as Rudolph continues to take the blame and keep his nose extinguished, Frosty's amulets will continue to keep them from melting.
What's more important, a silly old red nose or the lives of my best friend and his family?
Ah, Rudolph, what can I say?
I rarely do this twice, but 3 things here. A, he didn't use his nose for evil. Yes, he took the money from the box office, but only because Scratcher told him he was doing a favor for Lily. Evil, by definition, requires intent. 2. Right after he took the money, he went back to the circus and was able to light up his nose for the crowd. So if being tricked into doing something bad counts as an evil act, Why did it wait until just now to go out? And the escape clause. How does taking the blame keep his nose extinguished? He's only doing it to keep Frosty alive. Sounds pretty selfless to me, and correct me if I'm wrong, but last I checked, selflessness is the exact fucking opposite of evil! So, Rudolph tells everyone that was his fault, leading everyone to hate him. Winterbolt flies away victorious, and Sam Spangles begins preparations to take over the circus. At his lowest point, Rudolph begins to sing about his troubles.
No bed of roses, that's how life seems to be.
Well, at least this one's thematically appropriate. Oh hey, nice continuity reference. Whatever happened to Clarice anyway? While moping on the beach, he sees the northern lights as Lady Boreal's spirit tells him not to give up hope.
Have no fear when you defend the helpless.
I don't understand.
Be brave.
Remember who you are, Simba. I mean, Rudolph.
He then runs into Big Ben the Clock Whale, Shiny New Year was fucking weird, and tells him all about what happened. So Ben swims off in order to find someone to help Rudolph clear his name. Meanwhile, Winterbolt learns about the magic hat that brought Frosty to life and plots to steal it in order to duplicate its magic and create an army of snowmen to do his evil bidding. So he lies to him, saying that he can restore Rudolph's nose in exchange for the hat. Frosty agrees in hopes of saving his friend while lamenting losing his family, prompting him to take a fucking guess.
Now and then.
Skip. So Winterbolt takes the hat, leaving Frosty a regular lifeless snowman. Okay, wait a minute. He doesn't need the hat anymore! He lost it in Winter Wonderland, but Crystal brought him back to life with her love. So why did that magic go away? Was Crystal's love magic just stored in his snowballs and it transferred over to the kids when he snowplowed her and filled her with his ice cream? However, Rudolph catches him in the act and chases after him. After taking out the flying snakes, he tackles Winterbolt and reclaims the hat.
Hey!
Oh no! It's impossible!
Hold on. It took saving Frosty's life to bring his nose back? But saving Frosty's life is why it went out to begin with! So why did it go out in the first place? Logic! It's called logic! Christ almighty, it's not that hard! So Rudolph returns to the circus, bringing along a cop who clears his name by explaining the situation, as the hat is returned to Frosty.
Happy birthday!
Let's test your knowledge so far. Is this scene going to A, cut to a pointless song with no context whatsoever?
We're a couple of misfits. We're a couple of misfits. What's the matter with misfits?
Just bear with it, it's almost over. Suddenly, Winterbolt arrives to threaten them with his magic, but Lily throws her guns at him.
No! No! My powers are gone! When the scepter dies, I go too! I turn into a tree.
Okay. Unfortunately, with Winterbolt gone, Frosty's amulets have no power, leading him and his family to melt in the summer heat. Luckily, Big Ben shows up with Jack Frost, opening up yet another can of continuity worms, who uses his magical ice breath to restore Frosty and his family to life. Shortly afterward, Santa shows up to take them back home, But Rudolph decides to stay behind until the circus pays off its debt. Which may be sooner than expected.
I gave Lily some of my magic corn feed.
The kind that makes animals fly.
And now for something completely different.
Monty Python's a flying circus.
And they all lived happily ever after. Until the post-credit scene where Samuel L. Jackson recruits them, along with the Miser Brothers, the Last Unicorn, King Kong, and Lion-O, to stop Crawler Home from overthrowing Middle-earth by opening a sky portal releasing an army of Aguas. Don't laugh, Hollywood is that desperate. This movie is stupid. But is it any more stupid than any of the other Rankin Bass specials? Extremely. The plot is slow and overcomplicated, the soundtrack is annoying and pointless, and the whole thing goes completely off the rails just to establish a continuity that makes zero sense. And to top it all off, this was the last Rankin Bass special to feature any of these characters. Talk about going out with a whimper, huh? Anyway, this is the Necro Critic This is the Necro... This is the... Alright, that's it!
Oh, fellas, you want to see some real fireworks? This is the Necro Critic saying, Happy 4th of July, you filthy animals! And a Happy New Year, too!
That don't even make sense.
The president was passing laws, gave a call to Santa Claus. He said, get that toy machine on high. Economy is in a slump. I know what could pick it up. This year, let's have Christmas in July. Oh, we'll have Christmas, a summer Christmas. We'll have one fine, fun time unwinding in the sunshine Christmas. Oh, we'll spend Yuletide down by the poolside. This year, let's have Christmas in July.